Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. Today we are going to be looking at leatherworking. As a part of our Old World Professions series, I believe this is part 4. If you guys have missed the previous episodes, feel free to check those out. We have already done engineering, tailoring, as well as alchemy, so be sure to check those out if you guys missed them. And if you are new to these series, I'm going to be focusing on the recipes that are easy to obtain. Most of the recipes are either a quick fly away in order to buy them at a vendor, or they are from just generally just leveling up the profession. So, of course, there are many recipes out there. However, we're going to be focusing on the easier ones because, once again, this is a beginner guide. Now, before we do get started, I do want to say that leatherworking is a little bit different. The reason for this is because a lot of the generalized vendor recipes are pretty non-valuable, and the very big valuable pieces require an extra step. For example, we're going to be going over some of them that you have to go to a vendor and you have to spend, let's say, some leather in order to gain these recipes, and those are where most of your profit comes from. So, of course, I will make sure to highlight how to get the item, but all recipes we're going to be covering will take max of about 10 to 15 minutes to obtain, and most of them should only take about 5 minutes, and that includes like flying and getting there and everything like that. So, just a little disclaimer, it's going to be a little bit different, but because of that, we are going to get started with vanilla. Alright, so for vanilla or classic leatherworking, there are a few things to look at. I'm going to be highlighting 4 pieces of armor, however, there are plenty things here. As you can see, there are so many different helmets and just different pieces of armor, and some of these have some really good sell rates. I mean, some of these items, like these random light leather pants have a 0.03. The dark leather pants have a 0.04. These chain boots have a 0.06. Sadly, it is negative profit right now. So definitely looking at these and just like creating whatever it has, I would say above a 0.3, I would craft. These are just classic trainer learn recipes, and there's nothing insane to highlight here from these. I mean, right here, even this leather vest has a 0.04, and you can make 20 gold off of it. So just going through here, the barbaric harness, very easy. You can make almost 2,000 gold. So definitely looking at these pieces, feel free to queue these up. If these are profitable, this is a 0.05. Right now it's not, though. And anything like that is definitely very good. However, I do have 4 pieces that I do want to highlight. Now, the first one that we're going to be highlighting is the Warbear Woolies. Now, I will say that the Warbear Woolies are probably one of the most popular leatherworking pieces that we're going to have on this list, and probably just one of the most popular in general. The reason for this is because of their look. I actually have one in my inventory right now, and the reason why the Warbear Woolies is so popular is because of the look. As you can see, it's very scandalous, and that's the reason why a lot of people like this piece, and they mostly look good on female characters, so that is the reason why this is most popular. Now, the reason why I have this on the list is because you can make really good profit off of it. This piece right here, I've lost a lot of my selling data. However, as you can see, I've sold 4 pieces. I've sold a lot more. However, TSM bugs out and stuff and you lose data, but currently this has a sell rate of 0.09, which is insane for a transmog piece. Probably one of the best pieces that you'll be able to find for crafted transmog, and my personal sell rate is 0.12. So even on my server, the sell rate is even higher than the region average, and that's possibility that could be the same for you. Now, these aren't very expensive to craft. As you can see, they're about an 8.5k crafting cost on my server, and you can sell these for about 18k. Now, the region average is about 15k. And of course, if you farm the leather, you can make this even cheaper if you want to use your time. But with that being said, that is going to bring in almost a 10k profit just on these Warbear Woolies themselves. Now, to actually get this piece of gear, you will have to make your way to Winterspring, and you will need to complete the intro quest for the Timbermaw Hold. So what you'll need to do is go to Winterspring, and right here, the Timbermaw Hold, you'll just go talk to this person, and you'll start the quest line, and it takes about 10 minutes of questing in order for you to become rep friendly with them, and then after that, you can pick up this recipe. Now, the recipe that you can also get with this is that you will get the Warbear Harness. Now, this one I do not have highlighted because it does not sell as fast. However, if I can find it, as you can see, this one also sometimes has profit. Currently, it is not profitable. However, this has a 0.02 sell rate. It costs about 7k to craft, and the region average is about 12k. So most servers will probably become pretty popular and pretty profitable, but that is definitely the side item that you will get whenever you complete this quest line, which is what you will want to do. Moving on, we have the Devil Sword leggings, which are another very popular piece. To get this recipe, you will need to make your way to Ungoro Crater, and then inside of here, right here at Marshall's stand, there'll be a guy called Nurgle, and you just talk to him and you can buy the recipe. I think it costs like 2 gold, and that is it. The only thing that matters is for you to have maxed out vanilla leatherworking, but that is it, and you can just purchase this. Currently, it has about a 2.6k profit on my realm. Continuing, we have the Spitfire as well as the Sandstalker breastplate. Now, these both are from Silithus, and they're both from getting revered rep with the Cenarian Circle. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, most of the things we're pointing out is going to be a little bit harder to obtain. However, it's going to take about 10 minutes. Now, how you get the reputation with the Cenarian Circle, you will need to either buy or get the encrypted Twilight text. Now, if you do a lot of transmog open world farming at Silithus itself, then you will probably have a ton of these. I mean, I have almost 800 of them, or over 800 of them from just doing Silithus, and I've sold, and I've also purchased some of these. So they're pretty cheap, and so you'll just need to take these, turn them into the Quartermaster, and that is how you get revered. After that, you can pick up all the recipes. However, the ones that I'm going to highlight is the Spitfire and the Sandstalker breastplate. As you can see, the Spitfire one is bringing in about 6,000 gold, and the Sandstalker is bringing in about 10,000 gold. But yeah, guys, that is the basics of vanilla leatherworking. There's not a lot of pieces involved in here. Of course, once again, you can go through, pick up some of the, cheaper pieces that you just get from the classic trainer, but after that, you just queue these up and everything like that. So we're going to be moving on to TBC. However, as you can see, it's going to cost about 15k in order to make everything, and we are going to get about a 28k profit. But we will be moving on to TBC. Alright, so moving on to TBC, there is not a lot from this expansion. Now, do not get me wrong, there are a ton of good recipes that you can actually get from this expansion. However, it is a lot of RNG based. If you want to learn more about those, you can use the Crafted Transmog spreadsheet, which is what all these videos are kind of based on. This will be in the description down below, but you can just look at this, and as you can see, this is the TBC for leatherworking, and there are a ton of recipes. However, a lot of it is RNG based, or you have to do a little bit of a rep grind, or you just have to go find some recipes. So there are a ton of good sets. Most of these are sets. However, a lot of trainer pieces are not worth much. If we go back into the game, as you can see, all of these pieces have about a 0.01 sell rate, and of course there are some good profit margins. However, they just sell pretty slowly, and they do not look the best. So of course you can craft these, throw them up on the auction house. Worst comes to worst, they never sell, or best, they do sell and you make some profit. So you can definitely do that. However, a lot of these just aren't very worth it, and nothing is super crazy. I will say, if you do want to do one quick type of farm, you can look after these Stylin hats. There are 4 of them. Currently, I only have 2 of them, and I actually do have tutorials on these 2 hats that I do have, which will be in the playlist, which I'll link in the description as well. I used to do a lot of crafted transmog tutorials, but these are definitely ones that you can look out for. They're basically just fedora type hats, and they give some pretty good profit. So definitely looking at these and using these and crafting these are definitely the best. However, they each have their own type of grind and everything like that, which is why I'm not highlighting them all. But we have the Stylin Adventure, the Stylin Crimson, and then we also have the Stylin Jungle and the Stylin Purple. So definitely using these and getting these are going to help you out. But in terms of overall profit, this is really the only item that we have for TBC, so it's going to cost us about 3,600 to craft, and it's going to net us about a 1,300 gold profit. But that's all we have for TBC, and we will be moving on to Wrath of the Lich King. Alright, so moving on to Wrath of the Lich King leatherworking, there's actually a lot of very, very good things. Now, the first thing that I do want to point out is just classic material flipping. As you can see, leatherworkers have the ability to turn a normal leather into heavy leather. And so, simply just buying boron leather off the auction house for 2 gold a piece and crafting it into heavy boron leather sells for about 140 gold a piece. That means it's cost about, 12 gold in order to craft this item because you're buying it at 2 gold a piece, and that makes the profit on this insane. You're making over 120 gold by just doing this every single time. So this is a very, very easy flip that you can start doing. As you can see, I have 10 queued up right here, and if you ever need these for whether it's crafting or you simply just want to flip them and sell them back on the auction house, this is definitely the way to do it if you can pick up some cheap boron leather. Now with that being said, as you can see, we have a lot of other items queued. The vendor that I do want to highlight real fast is there is a fur and boron leather trader right outside of Old Dalaran and outside of the leatherworking trainer area right here. This guy right here, if you talk to, there are a ton of different recipes which you can pick up, and this is probably the best recipes that you'll be able to get for Wrath of the Lich King. Now, of course, there are plenty of RNG patterns and everything and rep patterns that you can do, but in terms of just trainer recipes, this is going to be the best thing you can do. On screen, I will have the value of how much leather as well as Arctic fur you need to get every single recipe. However, once you do so and buy these all up and learn them, this is probably going to be a very, very nice way to build up your collection. Now, as you can see, if I keep scrolling after learning all of these, there are a ton, but a lot of them do not have sell rates because these sets are not super popular. As you can see, there are some pieces that do have a 0.02 sell rate, and there are some pieces that do have a 0.01. So everything that does have a sell rate, I did already queue up. So all of these are from the vendor right here, and they're all queued up, and probably one of the most popular ones is that we have the polar vest, which is just a blue set of gear, and then we also have the polar boots, which just goes around it, and that's probably one of the most popular sets. So you just do this by strictly buying it all from the vendor. It's going to cost you a little bit, but the profit margins are insane. As you can see, if we craft all of those pieces, one of those pieces, and then we also craft 10 heavy boron leather, it's going to cost us about 8.5k gold, and our estimated profit is about 220,000 gold. So Wrath of the Lich King is definitely very good for your high value items. Now, of course, the sell rates are a bit on the lower end, so don't expect any super fast sales. However, if you just want to build stock, especially on your transmog tunes, this is going to be the best thing to do. So Wrath of the Lich King is very, very good, and we are going to move on to Cataclysm. Alright, moving on to Cataclysm, we have a few pieces of gear to show off. This is kind of just like Wrath of the Lich King. They're both set up pretty much in the same way. The first thing we're going to be highlighting is the heavy savage leather. Now this is just like the boron leather, where you need actually 5 savage leather and it'll create a heavy savage leather piece. The really nice thing about this is on my server, the savage leather cost about 11 gold. So if we want to take that, it cost about 55 gold crafting cost in order to create a heavy savage leather. And if we hover over, as you can see, the minimum buyout is actually close to 200 gold. So with this currently, it's about 140 gold profit on every piece of heavy savage leather that we can sell by just simply doing this crafting method. So for anything that requires heavy savage leather, you can cut down the cost tremendously by just doing this little conversion. And of course, you can just sell this on the auction house as is. Going into that, we do have the other sets from Cataclysm, which I do believe that everybody should learn. As you can see, there are multiple pages full of all these sets. The ones that we are going to be showcasing is the dragon scale set's really nice, and the char scale set's very nice. There's also the worm hide set, and specifically the drake hide leg armor is very good, and there's also the dragon scale leg armor. Everything else is just, once again, more transmog that you can learn. However, if you only have a limited amount of leather, this is the savage heavy leather, so you can use that recipe as before in order to get a discount with these pieces, but learning them is probably going to be one of the most beneficial things you can do. You can also do this quick pristine hide flip, so if you want, you can take your 10 heavy savage leather, which if we do the conversion, which was going to be 55 gold per heavy savage, that means the hide is going to be about 550 gold worth item value, and turning that into one pristine hide, which is about 1700 gold. So turning about 550 gold into about 1700 is definitely very, very beneficial. And as you can see, I actually sold some pristine hide about 11 days ago. So this is very, very nice flip to do as well. But we are now going to look at some of the pieces of armor that I highlighted. Alright, so the leg armor piece that I just talked about is what I want to show you. The Drake hide is the one that I'm really highlighting. Now, the reason for this is a lot of alts and twinks use these armor to basically just boost their gear. And so we have the Drake hide as well as the dragon hide. I like to highlight the Drake hide because it's pretty cheap to make. It costs, about 2,000 to create, and currently it's selling on the auction house for about 12,000, and region average is about anywhere between 5 to 12,000 as well. So definitely looking at these pieces are very good to learn. And then, like I stated before, we have the dragon scale set as well as the char scale set. Now, there are plenty of items. I personally do not own the full set of all the recipes that I showed you because I just don't have enough salvage leather on my server at the moment. However, I did highlight some of the bigger ones, so like the shoulders and the legs, helmets, chest pieces, the bigger pieces of armor. And as you can see, with about 10 pieces of armor, 9 pieces of armor if you want to remove the leg armor kit, it's about an 11k crafting cost, and the estimated profit is about 130,000. So these are very nice to craft if you guys are able to get your hands on them. Besides that, there's nothing too crazy to craft from classic trainer recipes. There's nothing too crazy. A lot of it is just bracers and some like 0.01 sell rate stuff. However, of course, you can try to craft those and hopefully they can make some profit for you. But with that being said, that is basically Cataclysm, and now we're going to be moving on to Pandaria. Moving on, we have the final expansion that we're going to be talking about, which is Pandaria or Pandaren Leatherworking. And so there are a few armor pieces that I like to show off, and then the whole gladiator set, which is a classic Mr. Pandarian thing if you guys are familiar with it. But the first things I do want to show off is the armor sets and the little armor pieces, the armor kits that we have. Now, Anchor Hide is probably the best one out of all of these right here. The reason for this is because it's very popular for twinks and other leveling characters. I have actually sold 2 of them in the past. Once again, I lost a lot of data, so it's saying that I've only sold 2. However, my sell rate with those 2 items was 0.5, which was a very, very quick sale. And as you can see, the actual region average sale is about a 0.04, so it does sell pretty fast. With that being said, they are very, very cheap to make. I mean, most of these cost only about 400 to 500 to maybe 700 gold to craft, and all of them are selling for a nice amount. The Anchor Hide especially is selling for about 5,000 gold, and I can craft it for about 360,000 gold. With that being said, there are a few other pieces. The Shadow Leather is actually saying that it has a higher sell rate, and as you can see, once again, about 100 days ago, I was able to sell 2 of these for 10,000 gold, which is crazy because right now the market value of these are only about 3,000 gold, but even with that 364 gold crafting cost, that is still plenty of profit. It still has a 0.06 sell rate, so it's even better than the Anchor Hide. However, these are both very, very nice. Lastly, we do have the Shaw Touch leg armor, which you can also craft and sell. With the exotic leather, it's very cheap to make. It costs maybe about 70 gold to craft, depending on the price of your exotic leather. And of course, this sells for anywhere between 500 to 700 gold, and it has a 0.03 sell rate. So all of these things, I mean, you can craft all of the leg armors if you want. However, I just want to highlight those 3 because they're very, very popular, and they do have some very nice profit margins depending on your server. Continuing on, we do have a lot of different pieces of gear that you can craft. For example, you have all of these kind of rarer items that you can create. They're all the like epic pieces of gear, which if you guys want to craft these, I mean, on my server, they sell for about 20,000 gold. However, region market value is about 5,000 gold. So if you guys want to take that into account, that's anywhere between a 3,000 to 4,000 gold profit, depending on the crafting cost, because a lot of these do have a crafting cost anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 gold. So definitely creating, these are just like the glove pieces. There's the different chest plate pieces right here. There's also there's like bracers, there's also shoulders, everything like that. You can definitely look into that. But the main things that we do want to show you, which right now it's actually unlearned for me, is all of the gladiator gear. So tailoring as well as blacksmithing both have this type of gladiator gear instead of Mist of Pandaria. Basically what you do is craft the daily item, which is on a daily cooldown. For tailoring, you have to create a piece of cloth. For leatherworking, you create a piece of magnificent hide, and every day you get a random piece of gladiator gear. Now, as you can see, there are a ton of them. I mean, just looking down at here, there are so many helmets, and they are very cheap to make. Most of these only cost about 1 to 3 magnificent hide, and magnificent hide, you can buy it off the auction house for 85 gold. So anywhere between, less than 200 gold crafting cost upwards to this one right here, it's probably about a 300 gold crafting cost, and all of these are selling for about 10,000 gold. Some of these right here, like for example, the shoulder sells for 5,000 gold, but this one right here sells for 7, and as you can see, there are just so many pieces of gear, and with a crafting cost of anywhere between 200 to 400 gold, anything below any profit is just insanely good, especially selling these for multiple thousands of gold. So, of course, it's going to take a while in order to unlock all of these recipes. It looks like there are 16 of each piece of armor gear at minimum. There might be more of certain pieces, but 16 helmets, 16 shoulders, 16 chest piece, bracers, gloves, belts, pants, boots. It's going to be a lot of dailies to complete this, but once you have it, this is going to be so much gold profit, and this is going to be so much stock for you to have on the auction house. So definitely, if you guys have not been doing these dailies, or you didn't even know about these dailies, this is something that you definitely need to get into, because there's just so much profit to be made, and it's very simple, and I believe that this is probably one of the best ones to do because you can't really get overwhelmed. I try to make these guides as simple as possible for you to basically get all the easy recipes before you just look at a huge spreadsheet with a ton of different recipes that are like with different RNG rates and everything like that. I believe I want to give you the simplest data. So this, you are bound to only getting one a day due to the daily cooldown. It's very simple, takes about 5 minutes a day, and you can easily start gaining some stock and everything like that. So this is probably one of the favorite things that I can do on my leatherworker, tailorer, as well as blacksmith. This is probably one of the best things you can do. And with that being said, that is basically it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this series. Like I said before, this is part 4 of the series. We are eventually going to be covering all of the professions. However, this is just part 4. So if you guys did not see the previous episodes, be sure to check that out. Also, if you guys want me to really, really do a certain profession next, be sure to drop that in the comments. Also, guys, let me know if I missed anything, and if you guys suggest any other pieces of gear for beginners, I'd love to see your suggestions, or if I just accidentally forgot a piece of gear, or if there's a piece of gear that you just really, really don't like, you can also let me know about that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out my Twitch down below. I'm live streaming 4 days a week. Also, be sure to join the Discord. We have over 1,200 members in there, which is insane, so you can ask your questions basically any time of the day, and you'll bound to get some replies, so definitely check that out. You can also contact me on Discord and everything like that if you have some questions. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how you're enjoying the content, if there's any improvements that I can do, and have a good day.